Why listening is your superpower. Imagine walking into a room where English swirls around you: laughter, quick replies, little asides, and realizing that you can follow not only the words, but the mood and momentum of the moment. That feeling of belonging is why listening is the superpower that unlocks everything else. Long before a child reads a rule about verbs, they have soaked up thousands of rhythms, intonations, and ready-made phrases. Listening gives you the same advantage as an adult. It turns English from a school subject into a living environment you can inhabit. When you listen widely and often to stories, chats, news, jokes, you collect patterns the way a musician collects chords. Those patterns become the scaffolding you stand on when you speak, write, and think. You start noticing how people actually say things. "How's it going?" instead of "How are you? You good?" as a quick check-in, and you begin to copy the timing, the stress, and the shortcuts. Because listening floods your brain with examples, you no longer build sentences piece by piece. You retrieve them as whole chunks, which is why fluent speakers sound fast and smooth. Listening also dissolves the fear of mistakes. When you've heard 50 versions of a simple request, you know you can make yours and be understood. And because you hear tone, the music under the meaning, you catch warmth, sarcasm, or excitement that textbooks can't show. In short, listening is not passive. It's the most active training you can do. It feeds vocabulary without memorizing lists, grammar without diagrams, and pronunciation without mouth charts. It teaches you how English breathes. Make it the foundation, and everything else stacks neatly on top. What to do when you don't understand. Not understanding every word isn't failure. It's a workout. Treat it like reading a map from far away. First, locate the big shapes, then move closer for the streets. Start with gist. Who's talking? About what? Happy? Worried? Joking? Catch anchor words like breakfast, deadline, bus, appointment, weekend, and let them sketch the scene. Resist the urge to translate each word. Translation is slow and breaks the music. Instead, listen for clusters. Ran late, missed the train, grabbed a coffee, paints a morning without a dictionary. Use layered re-listening. Pass 1. Relax and follow the main idea. Pass 2. Mark new words and recurring phrases. Pass 3 or 4. Hunt for small details, numbers, names, time markers. If subtitles are available, toggle them. First off, then on, then off again, to test recall. Notice how context solves mysteries. If someone says, "I'm absolutely starving," you don't need a definition of starving. Your brain infers very hungry. When you hit a tough patch, don't pause immediately. Ride the wave to the next clear point and rebuild the story from there. Afterward, quickly shadow 1 or 2 sentences you liked. Repeat with the same rhythm and intonation, not just the words. Keep a tiny input diary. Title, source, 3 phrases you want to steal, 1 question to revisit. Finally, be kind to your attention span. 10 minutes of focused, curious listening beats an hour of distracted play. Curiosity, not perfectionism, is what turns confusion into progress. 4 core benefits. In context. Listening is the engine behind 4 upgrades you feel quickly. First, vocabulary. Words encountered inside stories stick because they carry images, voices, and feelings. You hear commute, see the bus window, and remember it without flashcards. Second, grammar. Patterns arrive as living examples, not abstract rules. "I've been waiting forever," heard in a cafe line, encodes duration plus irritation better than a chart. Third, pronunciation. Your ear corrects your mouth. After hearing comfortable, choir, and the weekday Wednesday dozens of times, you abandon the spellings and adopt the sounds. Fourth, confidence. Successful comprehension snowballs. Each time you follow a podcast segment or a friend's anecdote, your inner voice shifts from "I hope I can" to "I usually can." The four benefits reinforce each other. Richer vocabulary makes patterns easier to notice. Cleaner pronunciation makes shadowing satisfying. Confidence keeps you showing up tomorrow, creating a virtuous cycle that textbooks alone struggle to start. Make listening a daily habit, plus time plan. Habits beat willpower, so embed English inside routines you already do. Pair audio with chores, cook with a recipe video playing, fold laundry with a short story in your ear, walk with a news digest or a comedy pod. Start small. 10 focused minutes a day for a week. In week 2, add a second 10-minute slot. In week 3, stretch one slot to 20. Your long-term target is 30 minutes most days, but frequency matters more than totals. Choose content you genuinely enjoy: sports commentary if you love tactics, travel vlogs if scenery motivates you, maker channels if you like building things. Shadow 1 minute per session. Pause after a sentence. Repeat it matching stress and melody, then play again to compare. Create a simple playlist structure. 1. Warm-up. Easy, familiar voices. 2. 3 minutes. 2. Core. Slightly challenging material. 6. 15 minutes. 3. Cool down. Re-listen to yesterday's hard bit to feel improvement. 2. 4 minutes. Track streaks, not hours. Momentum is the magic. If accents worry you, focus on one for the first 2 weeks to stabilize your ear, then sprinkle variations. Use frictionless tools. Downloads for offline. Speed control. 0.9 times to study music of speech. 1.1 times to nudge speed. And a pocket notebook or phone note for stealable phrases. When attention dips, change the task, not the language. Switch from free listening to targeted listening. For example, catch every time phrase, or write 3 collocations with make. Treat tough segments like gym sets. Short, repeatable, progressively heavier. Over months, this steady drip becomes a river. You will feel it in spontaneous moments like ordering coffee or joining small talk, where your mouth suddenly finds lines your ears collected earlier. Culture and connection, plus accents begin. Listening is also how you step through the door into culture, the humor, understatement, excitement, politeness, and tiny social signals that make English conversations feel human. You catch the wink in "nice one," the warmth in "no worries," the playful tease in "look at you." This is where accents enter the story. The same word changes color in different mouths. Water with a tapped or softened middle sound. Car with a pronounced or ghosted R. Day that can slide toward die. At first, the variety feels like noise. Soon, it becomes a map. Each accent carries history, local phrases, and a vibe: brisk in some places, laid back in others, and hearing them widens your comfort zone. Crucially, variety trains resilience. Once your brain has matched familiar words to unfamiliar shapes 100 times, a new speaker in a new cafe won't throw you. You'll follow jokes, feel pace changes, and sense when someone is being polite versus direct. That emotional understanding is what lets you join, not just decode. The more you listen, the more your replies sound like they belong in the scene rather than like lines from a textbook. Accents add vocab and real-world strength. Different accents don't just shift sounds. They bring new words and preferred expressions. You learn that awesome and sweet share space with brilliant and lovely, that mate, brekkie, and arvo live happily beside buddy, breakfast, and afternoon. You start hearing idioms that attach to places and contexts. No worries, fair dinkum, piece of cake, can't be bothered. This diversity makes you more robust in real-life travel, online gaming, international teams, because your ear no longer expects a single template. It also helps your pronunciation choices. You can adopt one anchor accent for production, while keeping comprehension multi-to accent. Media becomes easier: songs, shows, interviews, because you've met these voices before. Confidence rises when you realize you're catching jokes that used to fly past you. And your vocabulary growth accelerates because each new word arrives inside a vivid scene. A surfer thanking a mate, a detective calling something dodgy, a friend describing a concert as bloody brilliant. These aren't isolated dictionary entries. They're living phrases you can borrow, adapt, and enjoy. Practical accent training. How to build a small gym for your ears. Pick 3 creators, one roughly American, one roughly British, one roughly Australian or Irish talking about similar topics. News explainer, cooking, travel. Rotate short clips rather than long marathons. Step 1. Familiarize. Listen once without pausing, grab the gist, and note 2 phrases you'd like to steal. Step 2. Narrow focus, choose a 30-second slice and shadow it line by line, imitating melody more than consonants. Step 3. Contrast, play the same idea in the other accents. List what changes. R strength, T versus tapped, divided by flapped D, vowel shapes. Step 4. Test, turn on subtitles to confirm hypotheses, then off again. Step 5. Stretch, try a tougher accent. For example, Scottish, Irish, South African, for a minute, purely for exposure, with zero pressure to master. Keep tools simple. Playback speed, A/B loop, and a notes page titled, Phrases I Actually Want. Don't chase perfect mimicry. Chase comfort. Record yourself briefly and compare, not to judge, but to notice rhythm gaps you can fix. Finally, alternate goals. Some days prioritize comprehension stamina. Other days, musicality and stress patterns. This keeps training fresh and prevents frustration. Listening as a cultural guide and thinking in English. The more you listen, the more English becomes a place you visit daily, not a puzzle you solve. Cultural style starts to surface. Gentle understatement like, quite good. Enthusiastic praise like, I love this. Friendly casualness, where afternoon becomes arvo. You absorb politeness formulas, humor timing, and how disagreement can stay warm. Most importantly, listening rewires your default processing from translate then speak to understanding English. Phrases like, what are you up to? Stop requiring conversion. They arrive as meanings, ready to use. That shift speeds everything. Your inner monologue starts borrowing chunks. No big deal. I'm on it. That tracks. You're all set. And because they come with melody, they sound natural when you say them. You also start noticing tone as meaning, oh, really? Can celebrate or doubt depending on pitch. Thanks a lot can be gratitude or gentle sarcasm. With time, you'll feel when to soften, when to brighten, and when silence does the talking. That sensitivity is culture in action, and it makes conversations smoother, kinder, and more satisfying for everyone involved. Speed, tone, and social fluency. Listening trains quick understanding the way sprints train runners. Real conversations include interruptions, half sentences, and repairs. Wait, no, hang on. So your brain learns to track the main thread while ignoring noise. In a cafe, hi there, what can I get started for you today? Is instantly recognizable as, what's your order? Even if you miss a word. Tone is your compass. Rising pitch can invite, falling pitch can close, flat pitch can signal doubt. When you tune into tone, you stop over-explaining and start timing your turns. Socially, active listening makes you generous. You echo key words to show you heard. Rough day? What happened? Ask short, open questions and respond to feelings as well as facts. This earns trust and keeps the floor moving back and forth. You become the person others find easy to talk to, not because you speak the most, but because you keep the conversation safe and clear. That is fluency that matters in work, study, and friendship. Sound details, resilience, and the finale. At close range, listening sharpens your ear for the building blocks. The, in, this divided by that. The length contrast in sit divided by seat. the way weak forms hide in fast speech. Gonna, wanna, didn't. You hear sentence music, how questions lift, how lists step upward then glide down, how emphasis slides to new words to change meaning. I didn't say he stole the money can mean many things. Mimicry here is powerful copy 3 seconds perfectly, rather than 30 seconds poorly. But the deeper gift of listening is resilience. You get comfortable not knowing a word and staying curious instead of tense. You learn to ride past gaps, use context, and rebuild meaning on the fly. Over months, that calm becomes your edge. Meetings feel manageable. Movies become fun. Travel turns into connection rather than survival. Mix your inputs podcasts for conversational flow, news for formal register, YouTube for slang and spontaneity, audiobooks for long-form attention, music for rhythm, and let them feed each other. Keep celebrating small wins. A joke you finally caught, a phrase you borrowed smoothly, a moment you understood tone without subtitles. In the end, listening is the quiet craft that powers all the loud results vocabulary that sticks, grammar that feels right, pronunciation that fits, and confidence that spreads. Start with 5 minutes, then 10, then 30 most days. Add accents as you grow. Keep a pocket list of phrases you love, and treat confusion as your teacher. Every press of play is another brick in a bridge to fluency, and step by steady step you cross it. If this episode helped you feel closer to real English, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a sibling, or anyone who's learning. Your share could be the spark they need. And if you want steady, daily progress, hit subscribe to English Avenue today. You'll get fresh, practical episodes that train your ear, build your confidence, and keep you motivated. Join our community today, and let's grow your listening superpower together one day at a time with us.